What's up, guys? So here we have the tree of the knowledge of the good and evil, and there's so much mystery and heresy that comes from not understanding what this was. The Gnostics will say, "Oh, how dare God not let man gain supernatural knowledge," which is false. And other sects will say, "Oh, well, why did God put something evil in the garden to tempt them?" What I want to show you today is this here wasn't meant for humans or anyone. It's only meant for God, just like the law. This was holy and this was good, and the law is holy and good. And this was how God create what he used as a template in sort of a computer program to create creation. When you go back to chapter 1, and it says that God made the earth and it was good. God made the herbs and trees and it was good. God made the sun and moon, separated day and night, and it was good. God made the beast, it was good. At the end, God made man, looked at all his creation, and God declared it was good. How would God know it was good if he didn't know evil? So if you look at this in a wise man said, I was just listening to him yesterday, Chuck Missler. He said, all of God's creation is extremely similar to a simulation. Every mind that can study, and biologists and scientists can see deep codes within all of creation, meaning there has to be a creator. So when Adam and Eve partook of this tree, what they were trying to do is hijack God's not only moral codes, but the codes in which he creates by. And that's why when after they partook of it, God said, look at man, he has now become like one of us, knowing good from evil. God created man to receive light and life directly, source from human to source. It was a direct, but when man turned and tried to get life from being a god himself, that's where it fell. So let's have a look at the similarities between the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and the laws. In Romans 7:12, it states the law is good. Eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil brought a curse. Genesis 3:17. The law brings a curse. Galatians 3:10. The tree of knowledge of good and evil brought death. Genesis 2:17. The law brings death. 2 Corinthians 3:17, Romans 7:5 and 10. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil enlightened the eyes of Adam and Eve. Genesis 3:7. The law enlightens the eyes. Psalm 19:10. And in Psalms 19:10, if you read it, it's the law that is of God. It's pointing to this is how good God is by this law. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil was forbidden by God to be eaten. Genesis 2:17. The law is forbidden for believers to be sought after. Galatians 5:4. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil makes one wise. Genesis 3:6. The law makes one wise. Psalm 119:96. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil made Adam and Eve sin conscious. The law brings consciousness of sin. Hebrews 10:1-3. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil caused Adam and Eve to hide themselves from God, and they were naked. Genesis 3:8. The law disconnects people from God. Galatians 5:4. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil brought fear to Adam and Eve. Slavery to the law brings fear. Romans. It's so, everyone who is still putting them, keep reading if you want, take a screenshot, but everyone who is still putting themselves either under the law for salvation or under the laws for justification or under the laws for get rewards, you're still partaking in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that was never meant for you. What was meant for you was the original creation, where you direct your life, and the only life you get is from God to you directly. Not from laws, not from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Let God be God, and let us soak up his life that he gives us. So God bless.